It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, guys. 18th of July 2019, 8 a.m. CET. This is the pre-London Open live market coverage only on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to be here with you after one day. We had a break yesterday. Risk off is back. Anyway, let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading effects on margin trading. Crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. Friendly reminder, as you can see below the charts, our next meeting is within the next 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we are going to cover live UK retail sales. We are going to connect with Michał within the next 10-12 minutes. So from the some kind of the macro perspective, from the yesterday events perspective, we are going to be covered by Michał here. So we can start with a chart. We can start with what happened after our last meeting, especially oil. Yeah, we made great decision here with shorts, right? We are going to we are going to start with dollar index, trying to summarize what happened on the dollar. There was a great call from our side as well, so that's what we discussed last Tuesday, especially dollar and oil. So let's switch to the dollar index for a second. Okay, so if you remember Tuesday meeting, if you don't or you haven't watched, simply you have to visit archive section on the Light Forex Global YouTube channel and check what we were discussing. Anyway, 97.40, 97.50, we were discussing that's the supply zone, and we hit that zone on Tuesday. Then yesterday we just found few more stops and we saw the sell-off. So yeah, in that case we read the chart correctly, and that's the plus for us, right? Anyway, that's the history. What next? I'm not gonna be surprised to see the dollar is trying to bounce around current levels, meaning that euro dollar bears or cable bears are gonna be a little bit more active around the current levels because of where we are and taking into the consideration how the prices react at current level in the past, right? So as you can see, we do have plenty of reasons to think that price might do something here, all right? But my expectations are that even if we are going to see bounce here, if we are going to see bounce here, probably we are going to react around 97.20. Here we have possible intraday supply based on what we had to the left, okay, in the past, and we will see a deeper move on the dollar to the downside, okay, and we are going to probably test 96.80, another level where we seen the price was reacting many times in the past, okay. Why do I think it's going to happen something like it's my opinion only, it's not guarantee, guys, but I think we are going to see more dollar sell-off based on equal moves like this. So I think what we are going to see, and in that case it's exactly to the level we were discussing second ago, okay. So in that case more pressure on your US dollar might be in place. We are going to discuss particular charts during our conversation with Michał, so maybe slowly it's time to try to check if he's available already. Give me 1 second, please. So bear with us.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, Michał. How are you doing?
Good morning, good morning. I'm fine, and you?
Goodies. Goodies, very good. Thank you very much. What you've got for us today?
Today we'll be talking about US-China tensions, a little bit about Powell, about Trump. Yeah, that's the thing that I have for the morning.
Have you seen?
I don't know if
Have you seen the chart, the dollar index chart I've shown second ago?
No. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay. So go.
Okay, good.
All over to you.
Okay. I will talk about some previous statement, previous data about the Powell conference in Paris, where he said that despite the strong employment, strong consumer spending, strong U.S. data, a slowdown in global economy will be considered as a main reason for the Fed rate cut, as we talked before. And it's like U.S. economy influence the global markets, and it goes also in the other way. around. So I think it will be also affect the GDP rate for the US. Considering that, of course, Mr. Trump can be more confident to use it as a more aggressively approach to China trade wars, to impose those new tariffs for those $325 billion. And it looks like everything is going as he planned a little bit.
Can I stop you here for a second,
Yeah?
please? Because I saw, but that's the strange thing. I saw the latest Trump tweet. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was late Tuesday, but it was a funny tweet. He wrote like, if I can impose more tariffs in China. But I think it's a little bit of the dangerous game. So what do you think? How does it look like? Because it's creating uncertainty on the market, and it's we've seen this risk of, especially yesterday towards the close of the New York session, we saw sell off on the US indices. That's
right.
That's strange game. That's he's walking through the very thin line.
Yes, that's right. But I think we can not mainly focus on the tone of his speech, of his tweets, but also we can look for what he wants to reach, the goal that he wants to reach, and this is the goal is to big rate cut. So I think he by that tweet he also is like trying to put pressure on Fed because as I said, the Fed will mostly will take decision based on the trade wars, and if that is the main reason, all that Trump has to do is like sustain those tensions between, yes. So it's like if he will do it in a more aggressive approach, like saying new tariffs, stuff like that, we will be like fighting because with the trade balance and etc. But also in the other way, from the other side, like good and bad cop, but in one person.
I got it.
Yeah, but also about the China and the new tariffs, the problem. Yesterday, Beige Book, the reading was quite also in his on his side, as I can say, because we can read that. One second, I have this written. We can read that the pace of the growth has changed a little bit, but it was generally positive. But the problem that the Trump administration might have is the situation with Huawei. The Trump administration wants to meet the agreement for some of the U.S. companies so they can sell products to Huawei. But this talks, this agreement may end sooner than it even started, because the tensions are so high that that is, like you said, it's a thin line, and I think he just wants to balance this way off.
Okay.
To sustain the tensions, pressure the Fed to cut the rates for the 50 basis points, because he said before that he wants to aggressive rate cut, that the Fed was very easy on that, that they had raised the rates too soon. But also about the Fed, I want to say that I think that the president from Dallas, Robert Kaplan, said that modest, restrained, and limited rate cut may be warranted, and I think that it's and he also said that it's not the start of a rate cut cycle, more like a tactical adjustment for the inverted yield curve. So
Okay.
it's like it's not like a beginning of the bigger move, but adjusting the rates to the current situation.
Okay, trying to summarize what you've said, especially in regards to the Beige Book, yesterday after the publication, the Fed rate expectations for July meeting, it was
Higher.
market is pricing 100% 25 basis point cut,
Yes. Yes.
and
Around 30%, 50 points, right?
yeah, 30, almost 35, 50 basis point cut. The only thing is, that's what you pointed out, that's what is in my mind. Of course, if we are going to see 50 basis point cut in July, I think it's gonna be one and done. So probably we are going to see 1 or 2 days dollar sell-off, and then we will see, because if it's not gonna be a cycle as you mentioned, then you know, if it's gonna be like, because from internally speaking, based on the US data, there is right now nothing is gonna to explain 50 basis point cut, right? Only we can only the global tensions. That's the explanation. But looks like for now all those global tensions are, I would say, not touching US, at least for now. But
for now, yes.
Sooner or later, probably. Anyway, okay. Anything else?
I think that for the moment that's all. I don't know if you would like to talk again later.
Yeah, that's my question. If you are going to join us this afternoon when we are going to cover UK retail sales.
Okay, I would be glad to do that.
Okay, great. Michał, thank you very much for your input. Thank you very much, and have a great rest 2 hours, because then we are going to meet again.
Yeah. See you later.
See you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, so taking in all those informations into the consideration, so we got, I would say, some kind of the explanation about risk off towards end of the session in US yesterday. I think it's a composite of the problems between US and China and Huawei, as well as a little bit dovish Beige Book and the Fed cut expectations after the publications influencing the US dollar, especially dollar yen moving below 108, showing that bulls overall risk on sentiment is going to be in trouble during the day. As I mentioned, 10:15 a.m. CET, we are going to cover UK retail sales, but then don't forget that at 2 p.m. CET, 1 p.m. London, and 8 a.m. Eastern, we are going to cover New York Open Live, and what we are going to get this afternoon is Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, as well as weekly jobless claims and leading index at 4 p.m. CET. Nothing extraordinary, but I'm going to watch carefully Philly Fed Manufacturing Index and especially the reaction into the number. So let's go through the charts. Euro dollar. So as I mentioned, there might be more pressure on the dollar. So let's have a look where we are. From euro dollar perspective, taking into the consideration daily chart, right? We are trying to get back higher towards 1255, 1270. That's quite important because 67 is a weekly open. 54 is Monday low, right? So we are approaching this zone over here, and I'm not gonna be surprised to see some kind of the supply towards these levels, all right, especially around the weekly open, because it might translate from the dollar index perspective to retest this 96.80. Anyway, that's the first level. Second level is of course Monday high, and in that case we are talking about the 1285. If the bulls will decide to go higher, then I think the key is this over under we were discussing a few times already. In that case we are talking about the aggressive move towards 1340, 1350. On the other hand, taking into the consideration what we've seen on Friday, so the Friday range, as I mentioned, as a supply plus Monday low weekly open, that's where if the bears will try to take over, then I think finally 112, 1180 possible demand zone from the daily is gonna be under pressure, and we might see at least move down towards 1125, 1120 psychological level. So let's have a look what we have from intraday perspective. From the intraday perspective, still, I think right now, and that's what we covered on daily. So the zone in between Monday low, weekly open, overall, it might end up that we are going to have some kind of the consolidation for some period of time, right? We are in the middle of that right now. So I think bulls are waiting a little bit lower. So in that case, I would take into the consideration the yesterday manipulation point. We are talking about levels around 12.15, all right? And the first possible supply is higher towards 12.60 on euro dollar. In regards to the pound, of course, we are going to discuss in details during our UK retail sales covering. But right now, what is important here? Finally, we retest early January low with a little bit of stop count to the downside, all right? And we managed to get back above this level. So let's place the line on that low, and let me explain. I think. Taking into the consideration that latest UK data didn't disappoint, taking into the consideration that it might be a little bit easier to extend the Brexit deadline eventually, and taking into the consideration where we are on the pound chart, I'm not gonna be surprised to see aggressive profit taking here. I'm not saying it's gonna happen 100%, right? But from that daily chart perspective, I'm going to watch Tuesday low as a possible entry level from the medium term perspective, and I'm going to target levels around the Monday low, right? Risk reward ratio here is gonna be in favor of bulls. Of course, we cannot rule it out. Final breakdown and close below 2380, that would open 120 in my opinion. So let's have a look what we have from intraday perspective. So that was perfect manipulation in my opinion, the move through the stops ahead of the UK CPI yesterday, right? Now I do consider this manipulation point here as a first possible demand zone, and especially when we saw a little bit of the pullback towards end of the US session, we quite missed that level. So I think that we have some stops over here, intraday stops over here. They are gonna to be taken out maybe around UK data, right? And from here we might see a little bit more aggressive rally. Now, one moment. what is important here, why we saw this pullback towards the end of the New York session, it's gonna be visible better from the daily chart. It's because of the broken bottom, right? So yesterday we saw retest of that broken bottom, right? So that's natural supply here, okay? But we already seen it, and I think that we might see higher levels towards 25. Why? Because look, we fall from here, all right, but we haven't seen any kind of the retest of this supply. And taking into the consideration yesterday move, taking into the consideration the manipulation level, simply even if we are going to make equal move, it's gonna bring us towards 24.80, 25. And remember, we were discussing before we broke through that level, we were discussing that's the quite important zone, again 24.80, 25, and that's where I'm gonna to look from the bear's perspective. Okay, so I'm not interested where we reacted yesterday. I'm interested from the bearish perspective a little bit higher. Here I'm gonna to try to look for the price action which confirm eventually the idea of the long around 24.15, 24. Dollar yen, no change here in my view. We were trying to move higher. Risk of situation pushed bulls into the defensive again. We get back below 107, 108, but again 107.80, 107.50, that's the crucial, and we are testing this crucial level right now, right? Of course, if I would be bullish, I would be very, very careful about this aggressive move, but we've seen similar move previously and bulls managed to get back above. Right now it might be, I'm not saying it's going to happen, it might be 107.50 as the line in the sand, so watch out carefully, especially the price action you want to see in that case. As if you are looking for a opportunity to buy, if you are looking for opportunity to buy, you want to see eventually stop count and the reversal here, right? So let's switch lower, and we are talking about this level, especially that we do have this demand zone a little bit below. So in that case, that's a little bit more space in terms of the equal moves, all right? But it might be that that's gonna be equal move. Boom, that's what we discussed 2 days ago as well. Okay, so if you are a bull, you are still patient, waiting to check what is going to happen around 107.50. If you are a bear, and not in the market, so probably you want to see daily close below the low from the 16th of July, as well as below the low from 5th of July, right? And especially below weekly open. In that case, once we are going to see this type of the close, then retest of these levels might be opportunity to try to join the short side, right? And then the combination below might be temporary support over here. We are talking about the levels towards 107, 1660. Intraday, that's the breakdown level, so drop, base drop. Okay, so in case of intraday retest these levels, that might be the case, trying to approach short side, but you want to try to test this strategy
only if we are going to see the rally from here. If we are going to see 107.50, 107.45 and rally from here, I think we might go a little bit higher, right? Especially if it's going to be aggressive move. But anyway, there is a still space, so for sure we are going to have a time to discuss dollar yen during our afternoon meeting. Okay, again, Aussie Kiwi, they did the job during the Tokyo session when I've been sleeping. Still didn't join yet. Looks like they're trying to recover above 425. The thing is, the picture has changed a bit, right? What I'm talking about? I'm talking about this price action here we've seen, and this supply here, right? So right now I'm switching myself to wait and see mode. I would like to see the move back above 104.50. So I'm going to monitor this cross from the bullish perspective. Okay. Oil. That was nice Tuesday and then nice Wednesday for the shorts, all right, and we call it almost to the cent. Almost, we call it the shorts almost to the cent, if you remember, right? We were calling shorts here. Of course, I didn't close here, right? Just we had a. I didn't just. To be perfectly clear, guys, right? That was the range we discussed, and that was the final target here, and that's where I cover it, right? And because of I haven't watched the market for a whole day yesterday, I couldn't rejoin the short side. Now, where we are in that case, I think that's the last defensive line around 56, 55.50, okay, and then again much lower towards 54. That's where the bulls probably will try to step in and rescue the price. But one can argue that was the range, and in case of the range breakdown we might see much lower levels. So in that case the low here towards 52, 51.50 might be tested. To the upside today, I think that that's what been tested yesterday. The bottom of the range from the 10th of July, as well as yesterday high as a possible intraday supply. Okay, so in that case we are talking about the levels towards 57.50. And again 58.05. We are going to monitor oil. As you know, I do prefer in case of trading, I do prefer to trade crude during the US hours, so I'm using European hours to monitor what is going on, how price behaving, to try to build the plan for New York session. And indices, finally, strong sell-off yesterday, especially how the market behaved towards the end of the US session. There was we had a tweet from President Trump about I cannot impose more tariffs into China. So there was a sell-off on Tuesday, rescue towards the end of the session, but yesterday we broke through that levels, right? And it's especially visible here. So we know where is possible supply right now. Now, be very careful in case, we have to be very careful in case of market trying to treat that as a just range break, double the range, right? Trying to hold this zone over here, right?
So from that perspective, very interesting, because once we are going to break these levels, we have to get back into the daily chart. You have to get back into the daily chart and to check where we are currently, right? Because the most important thing from higher time frame perspective is not to let the bears to close below 27,000, 26,900, right? If that's going to happen, oops, we might eventually activate the supply we've seen in the past, and we are talking about this one. All right, so we have to probably we are going to see retest of 27, 26,900, and from bulls perspective we have to hold that level. Otherwise, if that's gonna be the failure, that might be the biggest failure we've seen lately. All right, guys, as usual, that was my pleasure. That's it for this pre-London Open. It was my pleasure to be here with you. But guys, we are going to have another meeting within the next 1 hour 40 minutes. We are going to cover live UK retail sales. You are more than welcome to join me here on Global Light Forex YouTube channel, 10:15 a.m. CET. See you around. Have a great London session.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.